welcome in. Okay, first things first. There's no like set intro or anything or anything at all yet. We're just gonna freeball the out of this.
Free balls. Okay.
Yes, we love free balls. We need a name.
Yes.
For this,
and we tried brainstorming some and we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of some and I couldn't think of it. I was trying to think of something with like, what's the word, like alliteration or something, so like the first and second words start with the same letter, and I was thinking like Genshin
guys. Genshin
guys
so
or like Tevat tabloid, but that's already a thing.
Is it oh, it is already a thing. Yeah.
It's already a thing. I was like, wait, that sounded really good. I wonder where I've heard that before.
What's your favorite region?
My favorite region, Mondstadt.
Mine is too.
Personally.
Okay.
The Mondstadt
Men.
Sounds like a really bad like
boy band
strip duo or something.
It's the Mondstadt boy band, the Mondstadt men.
Barbados boys, Mondstadt men. I don't know. I haven't thought of a name yet. If we come up with one, it'll be in the title, or if anybody else comes up with a fun name, then obviously that could be really fun as well. If people want to leave comments, that could be cool.
The community can just give us one. I don't know.
Yeah, think of something. We also need a jingle. I decided.
A jingle?
I think it'd be fun to make a jingle.
Okay.
I don't know what yet, but we'll vibe
I got
and think
you.
it
Okay,
over
hold
at some
on.
point.
It's the Mondstadt men. It's the Mondstadt men. The men that like Mondstadt. Gene Booba. There you go. Something like that.
I guess let's give a bit of an explanation as to what this even is. A lot of people for a very long time have been saying, Bran, you should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. And I was like, well, okay. And I've told me the idea for a very long time about doing a podcast style thing, but I don't think just a podcast is like my kind of thing unless it's in person.
Sure.
If I was like sat on a desk with you and talking about stuff, I feel like it'd be much vibier and stuff, and
I agree.
I just prefer that kind of thing. But I had the idea a couple of weeks ago of what if we made it into like a fun video where we can edit ourselves into situations and make it fun to watch and listen to, and that's where this kind of idea came from. And I went up to Doro and I said, yo, want to have a fun podcast time?
And I took that code and I was like, okay.
And here we are having a fun podcast time. So yeah, as me and Doro have discussed, it's going to be me and you every couple of weeks getting together. We'll see how it goes and see how much people enjoy it, but I think the thing that we agreed on at first is once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks, whichever works easier. And it's going to be where we discuss whatever's big in Genshin at that point. So for example, I think once every 2 or 3 weeks is great, because then we can discuss on one of the podcasts, the live stream and all the updates in the live stream. That'll be really fun. And then the actual update when it drops to see what the hell happens and how we feel about it, the banners, all of the good stuff. And then if there's one in between, we can just talk about
anything,
fun stuff, like an after dark kind of session. We can just vibe and have fun, which I think will be really good.
I'm excited. People have been telling me for a long time too, like, you should do a podcast. And I've always wanted to do them because I love podcasts. I just never knew what it would be about, and now we're here. So let's see.
Now we're here, baby. Into that.
Mondstadt. Mondstadt men.
Yeah.
Remember, we're going to make it stick.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Oh, it's sticky.
The Mondstadt men are sticky. You heard it here first.
Speaking of sticky for Mondstadt men, let's do a quick introduction of each other for those people that might be new to either of us or both of us. My name's Bran. I am a Genshin lover. I'm down horrendous for Diluc, and I never knew I had an armpit fetish until Yolan came around. I don't have an armpit fetish.
He does.
Not fully.
He does.
Like,
he 100% does.
Well,
he told me.
It's well.
I mean, who doesn't though?
Okay. Maybe a little bit. I think it's just her armpit though, not like all armpits.
Well, you say that, but like she's the only one that shows armpit. So like, what if other people show their armpits? Then you could really judge it. There must be some artist out there on Twitter that like drew everyone in that same pose, and maybe you could like,
yo, Diluc.
Maybe.
Yo, post links. Oh, and the Hazel birthday are actually true. Oh. Yeah, give me Diluc and the Hazel birthday art pose. That'd be godlike. Yes. That'd be so good.
But yeah, if you guys don't know who I am, I'm Doro44, Genshin Impact content creator. I love the game, and I don't know. Eula's my main, even though she's benched, and so yeah, I know.
I did want to touch on how we both met.
Oh yeah,
because I think it's a pretty cool story. It's an interesting one. It
is.
From your point of view first, how did we meet?
Okay, that's the funny. Okay, so when I started Genshin, so before Genshin Impact, I was like a variety streamer. I was doing a lot of Souls games, stuff like that. But I always wanted that game where I could just like play it, make content on it, and just love every moment of it and build a community around that one game. And I couldn't figure it out. And then like one night I had like a dream, and it was just like an echoey voice. I swear to God, when I tell this story, people don't believe me, but it's so true. It was just Genshin Impact. And so in the morning, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it. Whatever. It's gonna be a complete 180. Let's see what happens. And my viewership tanked, but then it started growing, and I just loved the game. And then I saw you came up on my YouTube. You did like the reaction to all the trailers, and I looked at your YouTube. He has a you know, and I saw your channel. I was like, who is this guy? And I loved your like reactions and your personality. I was like, this guy's cool. And I was like, man, I want to do something like this, because before my gaming channel, I had a YouTube channel where it was like Twitch help and stuff. Because I always knew that YouTube was definitely like what you have to do to grow as a creator. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I said I just got to get started. So I did Twitch help, and like, you know, just helping people with tips of like what worked for me. And so I saw your channel come up, and I was like, huh, that kind of gives me an idea of like, maybe I should just start Genshin content on YouTube. Maybe start off with some reactions or something, maybe story quests, whatever. And it was funny because I thought to myself, I want to know this guy, but I don't know how to reach out or anything. So I'm just going to let it be, whatever. He's a cool dude. And then you rated me one day, and you told me that you actually knew about me from my old YouTube. And then ever since then, we became friends. We started talking and collabing, and now we're here doing a podcast together. It's crazy how that worked out.
So from my point of view, it's very similar. I guess the reason that I started Genshin is I was in a similar boat to you. I was playing a lot of Souls games. I was playing a lot of Phasmophobia, horror games, basically just horror stuff. Before that, it was like JRPGs, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and then MMOs and stuff. But I was just getting into my reaction arc on YouTube, because I was like, I had that epiphany that you had where you was like, YouTube's the way to go for discovery and stuff. So I started reacting to tales of openings, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I got to the end of it, or very close to the end, and one of my VIPs from Twitch was like, you should react to Genshin Impact. And I was like, okay. Not gonna lie here, everybody, and then Nan told me Genshin Impact is just a pay-to-win game that is not fun. So I was like, okay, well, never mind. I'm not gonna play the game, but I can watch it and see. All those people lied.
Yeah.
And I hate them for it. I hate the notion that Genshin Impact is just a pay-to-win game. You're not paying to win anything other than the hearts of your favorite Diluc.
That's the stigma, though, that Genshin gets, but that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, it is bad. But, yeah, so they made me a playlist of all the Genshin stuff, and I was like, okay, I'll do, like, one of these a day or something. I just got hooked. I just got hooked, reacted to them all, so I was like, I'm just going to do one long video. It's probably going to flop, but it's fine. A flop to me at that point was like 1 view, because my videos were getting like 100 to 1,000. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do it, and I loved it. It was probably the most fun I've ever had recording a YouTube video, like, in general, because opened my eyes to a whole new world, a whole new game, and a whole new experience of different things. Went to bed with it being ranked like a 2 out of 10 on YouTube, which is good. Woke up to like 50,000 new views, and I was like, oh, Jesus, what is
what
this?
happened?
Like overnight, it just kind of got picked up, and then I had a Phasmophobia stream the next day, and people were like, oh, you should play Genshin. I was like, I plan to now, since people want to see it, and absolutely fell in love with it the first day that I did play it. And then, so let me take you back like 2 years prior. Scrolling through YouTube, 40 viewer Andy on Twitch, just like, I want to make some fun stream changes. looked up how to get a specific style of camera, like the rounded edges.
Oh yeah, that I do. Yeah.
And this dude pops up. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then really easy to follow walkthrough. I was like, I like this guy. And then I watched a bunch of other videos. And in any of your videos, did you mention that you were going to be playing Genshin?
No.
Or that you played? I don't think you did,
nope.
Right?
The later videos I did, but that was another reason why I changed quickly, like on that. I ran out of topics to talk about because there's only so much Twitch help you can say, and then until you're like repeating yourself, and I was like, I don't want to just repeat myself. And then also what I figured out was that like people were coming from my YouTube, but then they saw Genshin and I was like, this is not, I don't like this content. And so I needed the synergy. So the YouTube needs to synergize with my streams to get the viewer retention. And so when I switched and I made Genshin content, now people who see my Genshin content on YouTube come over, I'm playing Genshin, then they stay.
Yeah, but yeah, I saw that and then obviously knew who you were from that. Watched the new uploads and stuff for like a year at that point. Must have just been fate, dude. Honestly, I have no idea because
we're literally making a podcast right now together.
Yeah, like after a stream one day, I was like, okay, let's go find someone new to raid, and I saw the name, dude, and I was like, wait, Doro 44? I've seen this dude. So I watch his YouTube stuff. I was like, screw it, let's go raid him, and then.
Because like you have to think about it, I wasn't making Genshin content. You found me on my other content, and then you started playing Genshin, and I started playing Genshin, and then it had to be fate. I swear,
it's fate. We're married.
We are. Yeah, happily married.
Yeah, very happily.
Yeah,
health.
But the funny thing is that you noticed what that you mentioned earlier was how when you started playing Genshin, you got instantly hooked, right? I did too. Yeah. And one of my things that I love about Genshin is that it's like my comfort game. When I play it, I feel like I'm at home. And it's really, it's the characters, the areas, everything. I just feel so comfortable with it. And when my average viewership dropped when I made the 180, like I didn't care. For the first time, I didn't care because I was having so much fun with the game. And then obviously it's a bonus that, things grew. But I went from 40 average to 25, and at that time that was a big flop for me. And
yeah, it's a killer, right? It makes you feel crap.
I felt like crap, but in the same time I was like, I don't care, this game is just so much fun, and stuck with it. And here we are, fast forward. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
People always ask me in my streams, who's your favorite character, and I'm always like, Raiden or Eula. Those are like my two favorites. But I don't know, the way I play is I like to have a variety of who I'm playing, so like different teams and stuff, because it keeps the game fresh for me. Like if I keep playing the same person over and over again, it gets boring, right? And especially Eula, who is just a physical, I feel like is dead in Genshin as of right now, and the meta is like elemental reactions, Dendra, stuff like that. There's only so much like boinking and bingo bangoing and unga bungaing I can do with Eula until I just get bored. And so I like to switch up my characters. So I've been maining Klee. I finally built Klee, and she's fun.
Yeah, Klee's pretty great. I do like Klee.
But yeah, that's who I am.
What? You like my Klee?
That's cute. I have a Ganyu back behind the green screen, actually. A little Ganyu.
She has this too, but so she had an accident and
you broke her.
Well, no. So I don't know how it happened. I think she's just heavy compared to this, because the bit that sticks into the foot stuck into the foot and didn't come out.
Oh.
So she's just strong. She's the real pyro Archon.
I see.
Yeah, Klee's great. She's a lot of fun to play too. She is. And I totally get what you mean with the whole meaning certain characters can get boring deal, because I went through that with Eula.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with Eula, though, is that she suffers from success, and it's a genuine issue that I feel like she has, because her kit is all built around her ult doing a lot of damage, and let's say 40% of the time the enemies die before the ult can even go off. The other 40% of the time they get a shield or go invulnerable somehow, whether they're above, below ground, or just teleport. And the other 20% of the time, wait, 40, 80, 20.
I was gonna say, is your math right?
The other 20% of the time it doesn't crit.
Yeah, no, for real, dude.
So I don't know, it's a weird one, but That was the reason that I stopped maining Eula. And then I played Ito a lot, and I fell into that same trap that you said, where there's not enough variety in the team compositions because it's Geo.
Right.
And Geo kind of just works with Geo.
Yeah.
Eula kind of suffers from both of those as well, because yeah, physical's definitely on the low burner right now, but she's also cryo, which is also doesn't have any dendro reactions and stuff, and it's not exactly the new hot thing.
Going off of what you said though about the suffering from success, I completely feel that, because like she's so powerful when she does hit, and I feel that like one of my favorite things to do in Genshin is to collect characters and then build them. I love the grind of it, where I like grind for the character, try to make them the best that they can, and then once I do, I stop playing them because overworld. I think the issue lies in the overworld being too easy. For people who spend money in the game, right? And so like that's why I'm always like switching to different characters that are like weaker, because with Eula specifically, like I'll destroy them in like 2 autos, you know, because my Eula crits for like, I don't know, 18-20k per auto. So it's just like, dude, that's like 1 hit per person, then they're dead, and it's like, it's not that fun, you know. Maybe they just need to bump the world level up or something.
I think they could easily just give optional world levels if it makes sense. I mean, I think it would make sense. It doesn't even necessarily have to make sense lore-wise. I don't think the world levels do anyway.
Yeah.
I think they should have more AR levels and make them
100%.
more easily obtainable, because at the end of the day, like, months upon months of grinding for 1 AR level at the point that we're at, to get, what is it, 3 wishes or something, and then
I don't even think it's that.
Bunch of other rewards. It's just not worth it. It should be something that you want to grind towards, not something where. And I've seen a lot of people as well say that they grinded for AR60 and then just felt lost because they feel like they've done everything they can, and it's like, I don't think that's the case with the AR level. I think it is more of a side thing that you kind of grind for instead of a main thing.
Right.
But I think it is very important when it comes to always having something to look forward to and to do that feels achievable and obtainable.
I feel like what they could do is they could adopt like a power level system, maybe from Destiny in a sense.
Destiny.
Yeah. Something like that to grind toward, and then bump that up every like big patch or something, you know.
I don't think they would ever do that, just because of the gacha system, right? Because then it would become pay to win.
That is true.
Even though you're not winning anything, it'd still become pay to win.
I think maybe they'd have to rework a lot of systems if they did it. Like, it wouldn't be tied to your character, but maybe more so your artifacts or something. But I don't know. I don't know how they would have to rework it. But in the end, I think we definitely need. I think we need more battle pass levels. We need more AR levels, and then like a harder overworld for people who want that. Yeah. You know, and make it optional, obviously, because not everyone wants that. But definitely more battle pass like levels and stuff, dude. Because like I'm about to max mine out, and there's like 20 something days left. I'm just like, bro, I like grinding it, you know?
I think one thing that they could do for the battle pass to make it a lot better is what a couple of other games have already done. Bump it up to like 100 levels of the battle pass, and for the paid tier, give straight up Genesis crystals or another. Well, see, this is the problem at the minute, because in other games, like I think Fortnite does it and Apex does it, you can earn the currency it costs to buy the battle pass, so that if you complete 2 paid battle passes, you basically get 1 free, right? Yeah. But Genshin, I think the only way you can buy the battle pass is with real money, right? It's not Genesis crystals or anything, so they'd have to rework that as well. But I feel like that'd be a great way to do it.
I know. I'm always telling people, it's like, I wish we had 100. And a lot of people say like, no, that's too much. But it's like, I think what they could do is you could have like a standard battle pass that you can pay for, or just do the free one that's 50 levels. And then get rid of the $20 one and make that $20 one into the 100 level one. Maybe, or something like that. I want more levels. That's all I want. But I also want it to be fair to people that like wouldn't be able to hit that high, you know, because not everyone can max it out. But I know I would, because I mean, I play the game every day. I grind it. So I think for those players, it'd be even better. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You said Genesis crystals, right? I just want more fragile resin, dude.
Bro, same. So I had this discussion with people before. I would love more opportunity to get fragile resin because I want to be able to play the game for longer. I feel like increasing the resin cap only goes so far when it comes to doing that. Fragile resin would be a fantastic way to do it if you could earn it at a more rapid rate. I also think that we should have a higher cap on condensed resin. I really don't understand why it's only 5.
Yeah.
Let us save up for a few days. If you want to take 3 days off Genshin, just save up the condensed resin. But I guess FOMO and a few other things affect that. But yeah, I agree. I think fragile resin would be a great idea.
Right.
The reason I say Genesis crystals is just because I feel like even in the free-to-play battle pass, it'd be cool to add a couple of Genesis crystals onto the levels so that free-to-play players can get skins.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
Without topping up and having to spend money, because I feel like that'd just be a fantastic way to bring that to free-to-play as well, even if it takes a long time, you know, it's something to work towards.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things they need to rework. I love the game, but there are some things that I think they need to cater to more the hardcore players, but also keeping in mind, you know, the more casual players. And I think there is a way to implement that stuff into the game to, you know, please both. And I think the funny thing what that Genshin does is events, right? And like, it's like they kind of give you sprinklings of like, this could be an awesome thing that you do if you were to expand it. So like one of the new things, the Lisa event, right? And what I love about it, it's like Spiral, but like only certain characters move on to the next level, right? And then you have to choose a different team, right? That could be an amazing idea if you expanded that into like a separate type of Spiral Abyss or something for other players. And so you don't have to build 2 teams. You could just build a couple of characters or something, right? And then a couple of them move on, because not everyone can build multiple teams, right? That could be like a more casual type of Spiral, and then rework Spiral to be more for hardcore. I don't know, but it's like they kind of give you sprinklings of like, hey, this would be a cool idea if we expanded on it, but it's just going to be a limited event, and then we're never going to revisit it.
It's a weird one when it comes to the events. I feel like they've gotten a lot of the combat events really right, especially this current one. The one that was in the chasm was incredibly good, and would have made it for another great permanent event. And they had another one that I really enjoyed as well. I don't remember it fully, but it was one without a timer, and it was just kill the waves of enemies and stuff. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I'd love like a survival mode where you just have to survive as
like
long
a horde mode. Yeah, dude. Like, did you ever play Gears of War?
Great.
Yeah, horde mode was my favorite. Like, it just go as long as you can, and it gets progressively harder. I think that would be insanely cool, like a tower system or something, right? And then like I gotta imagine it like your whole team is dead except like your one main DPS that you've like put so much into, and then it's just like, okay, everyone's dead, they're not coming back. You're going to this next level with your one person, right? I think that'd be so cool if they did that.
There's a lot of different things they could do for combat endgame, and I really hope they eventually put some thinking caps on it and get around to doing it, because the combat is definitely lacking in a game that is, and a lot of people that are solely focused on lore and exploration and stuff completely disagree with this, but I find it hard to disagree with, to be honest.
Yeah,
Genshin Impact is a game that is almost primarily designed around combat.
Oh, it is 100%.
It's a game where you have 4 characters with different reactions that it teaches you from the beginning of the game. The whole point of Genshin, other than playing the story, which is once every couple of weeks, is to build up those characters, level them up, level their talents, get a weapon for them, level their artifacts, and take them into the Spiral Abyss, which is...
Well, if you think about it, the whole point of wishing for a character, which is the whole point of Genshin, right, is so that you can get a new character to build for combat. I've never heard of anyone wishing for a 5-star just for the lore. I mean, maybe there are people that do that, and more power to you, but for most players, you're pulling for Yelan or Hu Tao or whatever because of that, like for the combat.
Yeah, I don't know what you thought. It couldn't be me. I could never imagine pulling for a character just because I like the character and not for the combat.
Right.
I just.
I mean, I never pulled for Eula for the combat. It was just for the big sword thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. I am pulling for Dea because I love her as a character, and I don't care if she's good or bad.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, she's awesome.
I think I think you'd be surprised. I think a lot of people do pull for characters based on aesthetic, based on like, I love this character,
Sure.
I'm going to get them, like just based on looks and stuff. But you are correct, where a lot of people, especially for constellations, which I assume is the big moneymaker among whales, are pulling for the constellations to make their character stronger to currently beat the Spiral Abyss, which in my honest opinion, as the only form of endgame content in the game, is just not enough right now. With the amount of characters there are and the amount of other content there is to do in the game, I think Spiral Abyss is okay.
Yeah.
But as a standalone endgame combat, I don't think it's enough. I think we need more.
Yeah.
I do. I just think we need more.
Yeah.
I'm sick of constantly fighting against a timer.
Yeah, and I think that's where like they're coming from, is like, okay, well, we have the timer because the stronger your characters are, the faster you can kill things, and so that's where the challenge lies, right? But
yeah,
I don't know. Genshin is not an MMO. I consider it an open world RPG, right? But I am on, like, when the whole controversy came out about like how they did that interview with GameSpot, which was the most random thing, by the way.
It was something.
And they're like, no plans for like endgame. This is my theory, and I might be maybe like, you know, putting my tinfoil hat on, but like, don't you think it's a little weird that Hoyo would say all that stuff in some random interview for the GameSpot? Like, I think it was more of a, let's put some feelers out and see the people's reaction and like get some ideas or something. Some people actually have told me in like comment sections and stuff like that, they're like, oh, you're just like a Genshin shill or like copium. But I'm sorry, I have hope for this game, and so far they've been doing very good. I think now it is the time where they need to scale the game, because it is popular. You know, it still gets a lot of views on Twitch, and a lot of people play it, and I've been getting a lot of people playing it that are new. Like, so there's always new people playing. It's time to scale it though, because with the amount of resin that you get, but with the amount of characters there are and bosses and things to farm, 160 is not enough anymore. And then once you build these characters, Spiral Abyss isn't even worth it anymore at that point, because it gets too easy for a lot of people, and the rewards are definitely not worth it as well. And I think
the rewards are terrible.
Like, people always tell me like, should I do Spiral? I'm like, it's not worth it. I only do it because I think it's fun and I like to test out my characters, but like for the rewards, it's not. I just think it's time to scale, and I think they are going to do it. I mean, think about it this way: how many more regions do we have? Like, what, 5, 6?
We have what? Mondstadt, Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru, 4. So we have 5, 6, 7, 3 more actual regions.
Sure.
And then there's gonna be like Celestia, probably Camria, and then other places too.
There is still so many years of Genshin and so much potential. And then apparently my chat was telling me that like Tevat is like one of like the I don't know what they called it, zones in a sense, and there's like, they're planning to do like more possibly. It's like maybe like, I don't know, there's just so much potential with Genshin, I think.
Okay, so I don't think they've ever outright come and said that. However, it's the thing that makes the most sense, because if you look at before the game came out, the trailer was called Tevat Chapter Storyline Preview. So I imagine it's the Tevat chapter, then we're going to get like the Abyss chapter, which may mean we play as the other twin and experience the Abyss side of things.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah.
Which I think could be really cool. Like, it could show us landing in Camria with Piero, like in the lore, and then take it from there. I don't know how they do it exactly though, because at that point, are you going to have 2 separate gacha parties? Like, all the Tevat people are you going to have with the MC that you chose, and then are you going to have a totally new system for the other twin? Because couldn't really carry them over, right? Couldn't really play Diluc in the Abyss or something, or Diona, you know?
It would have to kind of be like a new game in a sense, like a Destiny 2 type thing, you know?
Yeah, but I genuinely think if they did that, I think it'd kill it.
You think they would?
Yeah, because imagine all the money people have spent on Genshin.
That is very true.
If people have spent like $100,000 on Genshin, and then it's just, oh hey, we have Genshin 2 where you lose all your characters. Let's go.
No, that's true. Yeah, they can't do that then.
No, I think it'd just be a terrible move. I don't know how they can do it, and I don't know what they're gonna do, or if we even just get to use the same people and there's a lore reason. It'd be cool. Sure. But I do think there's more than just Tevat. I don't see them ending Genshin.
I don't think so either. That's the thing. Like, I feel like Genshin has so much life ahead of it, and it's not slowing down, in my opinion. And like, I don't know. There's just so much left unexplored and so much opportunity. And so with that said, I think we will get better endgame at one point. I think we will get those things that we want. It's just they're taking their time, you know. And here's the thing too, at the end of the day, if they don't deliver on that stuff that people want, and then they start losing money, then that's when they'll start making those changes, because money.
Yes, and also I do think it's important to note that when you said they're taking their time, I think it's totally fine for companies to take their time with things. I don't care if we have to wait another year. It's more so the communication for me. Sure. Like, getting the article out of the blue and then no follow-up or anything to that. It just felt kind of out there. But at the same time, I think a lot of people took the article at face value that wasn't even there. A lot of people are saying that article said there's going to be no more combat endgame. It never said that. It never once said those words. It said, the question was something like, will there be any more combat endgame in the same vein as the Spiral Abyss, meaning similar to the Spiral Abyss? And they said, we don't have any plans for combat endgame in the same vein as Spiral Abyss, which I ain't going to lie. Dude, if we get more combat endgame, I don't want it to be another Abyss.
We already have
want it to be something different. Yeah, give us bosses where the difficult part of it isn't speed running it. Give us a boss where you have to apply a shield to yourself, or it's like an insta-kill mechanic. Or you have to cause a certain reaction, which changes every week or every 2 weeks or something. Otherwise, something bad happens. Just something that's difficulty isn't locked behind a timer, and I'll be happy.
Well, that's the thing, though. Very happy. Like, they're already doing that stuff in the game in little tidbits.
Yes.
And, like, the Raiden boss, spoiler if you haven't done it, but, like, she can one-shot you if you don't electrocute or the little thingy. And so, like, I'm already imagining, and we have domains and stuff, too, where it's, like, I don't know if you remember Tartaglia's story quest, but like that domain, right, where you're going through like the factory and stuff. Yeah, that was cool. Awesome. And then like you had like the big ruin guards in the end, right? So it's like they could already do like dungeons if they really wanted to, where it's like puzzles and like bigger areas, and then there's a big boss at the end or something like that. And then it's like a specific mechanic or something to it. I don't know. There's a lot of things that they can do.
Yeah, in terms of the expansion that you mentioned as well, and like Genshin should expand and do these cool things like up the resin cap, add more content, add combat endgame. I think there's a couple of things holding them back, and I don't know how or if they would even tackle these things. I think the first thing is it's very different culturally, because over here in the UK, and I assume over there in the US, there's none of the laws like I think it's China have, where like people are limited to a certain amount of hours on games and stuff like that in general. So that's one of the things. And the second thing is, which I think, and I get crucified for this whenever I mention it, but it is true, at least in my mind. You can let me know your thoughts and comments, let me know yours. But in terms of expanding Genshin into something even bigger than what the scope of it is, I think mobile is holding it back. But at the same time, I don't think Genshin would be where it's at right now without mobile. And I know for a fact, like, probably the majority of income for Genshin comes from mobile players. I don't think it's a good thing to totally cut mobile out of the picture, but I don't know the best way to cater to both communities, you know, like mobile gamers and desktop gamers like us that want this super huge open world with unlimited playtime kind of thing, because then it's just not a gacha game.
And that's a good point, because, you know, could mobile, you know, handle all that stuff if they were to add everything, right? It can't. I mean, it's already such a big file on phones already, where people have to like delete old like cutscenes and quests just to fit it on their phones.
But that's it. And I think that's a big step in the right direction. Because I think they could start doing that for PC as well, letting people delete old data that's not going to be used by them anymore. And like, also that'd open up the whole new opportunity of replaying forgotten events that we can't do, that we might have missed. Right? Because I would love to play some of the old events, Windbloom and everything from the past that I just didn't get a chance to do and it disappeared.
I could see them doing that at the end,
re-download that.
Like, I don't see them doing that anytime soon, though, because I think what they want is...
They're working
Are
on
they?
it. They did say... Yeah, they said they're working on it. This mobile step to delete old quest data was like the first step into the testing stuff, apparently.
I see. Because I was thinking...
From what I saw...
I was thinking, like, they would want, like, the FOMO, right? And so, like, they wouldn't want to bring back those events, you know, so that you can get that stuff, you know?
I think the FOMO is around the rewards of the event for most people and not the lore of the events. So I think the best way to do it would be to bring the events back,
but no rewards.
Without
so you can't get Cinnabar Spindle like for a beta.
Well, I think the weapons and stuff should come back, but like primo rewards.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I know events give a lot of primos. You're talking like, even if it was like a 10 pull for events, I would rather have the event to play and no 10 pull than have a free temple and no event, you know?
Yeah,
personally.
No, that's true. I think what Genshin needs, truthfully, is competition. I think that's what it needs. And I don't think there is any competition for it right now. There's a game coming out this year that I'm personally very excited for. I'm definitely going to be trying it out, called Blue Protocol, which, yeah. That game looks awesome. And...
It does look good.
But that game is definitely more catered for MMO, like when they market it, right? I just think it needs better competition. I mean, what was it? Tower of Fantasy came out and it was like the Genshin killer. Like, if you have to market yourself as a Genshin killer, like, I highly doubt you're a Genshin killer. But like, I think that's what it needs.
I'm sorry, that was like the cringiest thing. It was like, don't market yourself as a, because then if you're not the game killer, you look like an idiot.
That's
like,
what happened. Well, the thing is, I tried Tower of Fantasy, and the first night I played it, I actually enjoyed it. I was like, this could be really cool. And then it just, the more I played, the more jank it was. I was like, and it's like, why play this if I could just play the better version, Genshin, right? In my opinion.
I never even made an account.
I see. I wanted to give it a go. Just to see,
understandable,
you know, but it was like a Walmart version of Genshin for me, and maybe some other people like really liked it and still like it. But I think what Genshin does need is some competition to like maybe like push them in the right direction. Like, hey, maybe you should add that a little bit faster. But
well, like you say, I think Blue Protocol is going to be a big one, especially considering, if you didn't know this, because I didn't, a big reason a lot of the Genshin streamers and YouTubers, the big guys, you know, Envy, Twanto, and a few other people that I saw on Twitter, when they announced Blue Protocol, or re-announced, I guess, because it was already in the works, they started playing Genshin because either, number one, they thought it was Blue Protocol, or number two, they wanted something to keep them busy until Blue Protocol. So I think if anything's got a chance, Blue Protocol could be it, and I'm very excited to try it out as well. Although I will say, Hoyoverse have got some games coming out, obviously Star Rail, the turn-based game, and ZZZ, which looks pretty fun. However, the one game that is on my radar and has been for a while now is Wuthering Waves. Oh,
I think you told me about this.
Bruh.
Did I check that out?
I mean,
let me Google it real quick.
You'd love
Wuthering Waves is what it's called.
Wuthering Waves. It's basically, from what I see, it's like a...
Oh, yeah. I've seen this.
Yeah, it's like the Dark Souls of gacha games.
It does look like it. It's very dark and muted.
Yeah, so it's made by the people that made Punishing Grey Raven, which is notoriously super difficult.
Yup. I was going to say it looks like that game. I see.
And it just looks super, super good. I'm very excited for that coming out.
So let me ask you this question then. What do you think makes Genshin so popular where like when another game comes out, it can't compete with it?
Booba Sword. I'm kidding.
I mean, that's the reason I keep coming back. Like when a game comes out and you try it and it just like, it doesn't hit like Genshin. What is that thing about Genshin that just hits for you? It's a lot for me.
For me personally,
yeah,
I think the main thing for me, if I'm going to be completely honest, is, I mean, everyone knows at this point, I'm a lore hungry nerd who absolutely loves the story, right? For me, it's the quality of the story and how much it's progressing. I mean, compared to Mondstadt, we're in Sumeru now, dude. The story's getting absolutely
bonkers.
Insane. But it is the quality and the speed in which it's pushed out at, because I can play an MMO, I can play Elder Scrolls Online for a few weeks and get caught up and enjoy the endgame stuff, and then, I mean, MMOs and bigger games like that, you're talking 6 months for an expansion. You're talking every couple of years for a big expansion. Genshin is 6 weeks. It's so rapid fire.
True.
Sometimes it feels like forever, but it's every 6 weeks.
And I think that's how they keep, you know, the longevity of Genshin is like they give you it, the story stuff in tidbits versus like a big, like if we're talking like Final Fantasy, right? And like how they have like those really big expansions, and then you can just go crazy and explore, right? But then once you finish it, now you have to wait until the next expansion. And if they do that, but with Genshin, they're just like, let's take the big expansion and then micro it, you know, so that you guys can chew on it and it can last longer, right? So that the game can last longer.
It lasts a year, right? Like if Sumeru was one expansion, in an MMO, you'd be done with it in 2 weeks and then have 9 months to a year to explore and do whatever you want, but it's going to get boring after a while. With Genshin, there's always new stuff, new areas, different stuff like that. Also, exploration and co-op are really fun for me. I really do think that they're super fun. And I know a ton of people are going to disagree with me on this, a ton, but I know a lot of people will agree as well. I feel like the people behind the game actually care.
Yeah. I agree.
I do. Sure, there's some things about the game that are bad and that I don't like. I'm not going to sit here and kiss ass and say everything about this game is perfect. It's not. There's some things that I really don't like about the game. Recent Event, for example, I don't like the fact that the lore was locked to time-based rather than progression-based. But I don't know another game that will do the sponsoring people in the community for fan-made like trailers and fan-made songs and fan-made cosplay stuff and all that for the Hoyo Fair stuff. I don't know another one that does live concerts with a full orchestra and for Honkai and stuff, the whole digital 3D performances and stuff. I feel like they give, and they can afford to, they make a crap load of money, right? Like a crap load of money. So, but it's sometimes nice that they just choose to, because they don't have to. That's
true.
I don't think them putting on the orchestra performances and stuff is a way for them to be like, we're gonna get more people to buy this game. It just doesn't make that much sense to me. And like the anime, like obviously the anime probably will do that, and it's great for marketing. But it's something that the community's been asking for what, 2 years at this point. People have always wanted a Genshin anime. They were talking about it ever since they read the manga, which again,
that was great. Awesome too. Yeah, I think what's so cool about Genshin is that they do care, and even for their creators, you know, they care. They care about the cosplay community, the art community, the streamer community. They care, and then I think with that, on the other side, the community itself really is very passionate about Genshin and the characters and the lore. And I'm talking about the good, passionate part about it.
Hey, passionate's the best word to use, because I completely agree. Some people are just too passionate, but yeah.
It goes both ways. The company cares, and then the community, you know, also really cares about it too.
And a lot of people are like, well, of course they care. Then that's how they make money. Yeah, but have you seen the amount of video games that are still making a crap load of money that don't care? Have you seen all the Activision games and all the Ubisoft games and stuff that come out, and people are just shaming them for, it's a Ubisoft game, it's not going to be good. Like, you don't want to get to that point, right? There's a lot of Activision and Ubisoft games that are phenomenal, but they're already tainted by the fact that people say the company doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, just look at Apex Legends and what they're doing with their game. Sorry.
Did you hear that they shelved the mobile game?
Oh yeah, probably because people weren't playing it. Or maybe they weren't making the money that on mobile.
People are spending a lot of money on it, though.
Were they?
So what they did is they did like a Chinese New Year event.
Okay.
And then a week after said they're sunsetting the game without giving refunds.
That's EA for you, baby. Good job.
Evil. It's evil.
Dude, so funny thing, someone came into my chat, by the way, and they're like, did you know that Jean and Barbara are sisters? And so I put my sarcasm up to 20, and then I even had Audie like come on, and they believed us. People thought that I was serious, like we didn't know that. And I was like,
oh, you definitely just didn't know.
You're right. I didn't. I honestly, you know what? See, the cat's out of the bag. I didn't know. I really didn't know. I never pay attention to the lore. I skip everything. Come on now. I don't. I swear to God, I don't.
You fucking better not.
Dude, when people say that to me, they're like, I just skip everything. I'm like, do you also complain that the game has nothing for you? Like, did you just go to the thing?
Do you know when I realize people skip a lot, even without realizing it? When I ask people how long a specific quest is.
Yes. Oh my God. When I'm like, hey guys, what's the quest we're doing today? How long is it? And I get like 2 hours, 1 hour and a half. Some people say 30 minutes. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay.
Have you done the latest Golden Slumber quest, the Dirge of Bilkis?
I did like the original Golden Slumber. I've not done the newest one. Okay,
so there's like a quest that it unlocks afterwards, which is like after the main thing. And people at the end of that quest, people were like, go do it. It only takes 10 minutes, 20 minutes max. It took me like 45 minutes yesterday, and I was like, okay, this is why I don't listen.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? We just need to like just do it ourselves. Stop asking. Yeah. People just skip.
Maybe I'm just bad at the game and I just take longer than everyone.
Well, I mean, it's different though because we stream it. So like at least for me, I stop and I talk, and you know, I get rated sometimes. So it's just like, it's longer. True. I don't know.
If you had to pinpoint one certain aspect of the game, whether it's the combat, the reactions, the end game, the story, the lore, the way it's told, anything at all, what would you say, if anything, is like by far your favorite part of Genshin?
Ooh, and I can only pick one? One thing. My favorite part of Genshin. You know what's funny? It's the simplicity of it. I try playing Final Fantasy, I try playing other games, and if for me, maybe I'm just dumb, but if a game throws too much at me, I don't like it as much, right? But like I said earlier, Genshin feels like home to me. It's my comfort game, and I think what plays into it is the simplicity. Yet there is complexity to it with certain things, but it's easy to grasp, I think, is what is my favorite part of Genshin Impact. It's easy to grasp. It's easy to get into the story. It's easy to get into the characters and the combat, and it's easy to pick up. And I think that's my favorite part of Genshin. And it's cool too for new players because like Final Fantasy, in my opinion, the menu systems, there's just so much going on in the UI. Same thing with ESO. Genshin is just, it eases you in, it comforts you. That's in my opinion. That's probably my favorite part.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think when I first started, I agree with everything other than the menu stuff. But when you get used to it,
sure, yeah.
In my opinion, the menu stuff overwhelmed the hell out of me. I saw all these different things. I was like, wait, quest items, gadgets, weapons, artifacts?
I think artifacts is where it hung me up too, though.
Yeah, it's very confusing, but it did kind of wean you into it, because, I mean, you don't even necessarily care too much about what's like a good artifact until AR45. Right. So yeah, I agree. I think my favorite part of the whole game, the way that I'm kind of looking at it is, if everything else disappeared apart from this, what would I still be happy with? Ooh. It would have to be just the story.
Yeah.
For me. The story and lore. Although if I had to choose one, the story, because the cutscenes and everything, it's great. I always say this. I don't know if I've said this to you, but, well, actually, let me ask this question. This will be a fun one. We both kind of instantly got hooked onto Genshin.
Right, yeah.
Was there a specific moment in the game that you remember that you kind of clicked and realized, oh shit, I'm like in this now. I'm in this for the long haul. I love this.
Oh, that's a good question. I gotta go back and remember now.
It's a thought provoker.
You gotta make me think now, man. I think the moment that really hooked me, it has to be the story. If I had to pinpoint one thing, It has to be the story and the characters. I feel like the characters are fleshed out and they feel like they belong in that world and the world building. I think once I was getting farther in the story and just the world and how it all comes together, I think that's what really hooked me. I love the combat. I love the exploration and like everything you can go find. But if it was one thing, it's the story that like hooked me. And I was like, man, I want to get to know these characters. I like these characters. Maybe it's the characters, if I have to really pinpoint it. That's what hugged me.
Yeah, that's fair. I can pinpoint it to a very specific moment for me. Liyue Archon Quest Act, I think 2.
Okay.
It might have been 3. Whatever the battle with the Jade Chamber was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When you're...
That cutscene, I was like... Where like Zhao saves peeps and everyone's fucking pew 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 in the Jade Chamber. Yeah. That cutscene is the one moment in all of Genshin where I sat down and I realized afterwards, I was like, wow, I'm immensely in this. Yeah. Like, this is what I want to do.
Yep. That's a good one.
It was a mixture of that and the We Will Be Reunited quest, for sure. Because I did them both at the same day, I think, or a day after each other, and both of those 2 days, like the We Will Be Reunited quest is still, in my opinion, one of the best quests in the whole game.
Yeah.
Where you first reunite with the sibling.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point too. That I remember that cutscene specifically, and that whole mission specifically. That it was just so epic. Yeah.
It's like one of the first times in the game they gave you a ton of waves of enemies that weren't incredibly easy to beat. Like, I even spent money on the account and stuff. I had like C5 Yan Fei leveled up and they were still not that easy. It felt like you were fighting for your life.
Did, and then
it was great. Oh, it was just so good.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was a good moment.
Yeah, I miss it, honestly. I need something else like that. I thought the Skara mech was going to be like that, but it was just way too easy.
I feel like because of our characters and like we're so used to the game now too, that like it gets easier for us, you know. Maybe you need to scale
That's
it.
why I kind of wish. Yeah, maybe not even a scale thing. I just kind of wish there was like an option for like an easy and hard mode instead of just making it an easy mode, and like hard mode added extra mechanics and stuff, you know, because I feel like the Skara mech would be the perfect boss to do that.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, you have to interrupt it and stuff with the pew pew thing.
Well, have you done Sino's story quest?
Yeah.
I love that quest, and then like that final boss battle, I was like hyped up for it, and then it was just too easy. I just defeated the dude in like very quickly, and I was like, oh, this would have been so cool if it was actually like fleshed out.
I ain't gonna cap with you. I don't even remember the final boss of that quest. So
it was am I allowed to talk about spoilers?
Yeah, I mean,
spoilers for a Sino story quest. You're in the pyramid and you're fighting Sino's like mentor.
Oh, the old associate. Yeah.
And he gets buried alive. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of forgot you fought him because I think I also cleared it within like
seconds, like pretty much. Yeah. And so like, I think like because that moment was so cool in the story, and then it was like gotta fight him now, and then it was just like, oh, bet I just swung 2 times and like you're dead, right?
Yeah.
I think they need to fix that.
I think having like a hard mode option for quests, or at least just for combat battles, would be a really good thing, because then you're not punishing people who don't spend money, and you're not making things too easy for people that do, because I think a big notion is people who spend a lot of money want the game to be easier. That ain't the case.
Not at all.
For a lot of people.
No.
They just want that like an added challenge, and also like, I don't care if a boss disables my constellations. I don't care. Just make it hard. But don't actually. Okay, no, I do care. Don't make it artificially difficult.
Right.
Make it actually difficult.
Yeah.
Don't make it so like Raiden disables your abilities, or then again, that one's actually okay. That was pretty fun. A lot of people are always like, just don't use the weapons that you paid money for. Just use 4-star weapons, or just use 4-star artifacts. It's like, no, because that's just artificial difficulty. Yeah. You're just making it hard on yourself at that point, instead of the game actually being hard. You're not getting rewarded mentally or anything for doing that. I agree. So, I don't know. I feel like difficulty options would be pretty good.
Another thing, though, another moment, and this is very early on, another moment in Genshin that like sticks in my brain a lot. It's that Breath of the Wild moment where like you get the Statue of the Seven, the first one, and then it just opens up and you see Mondstadt and everything. I don't know, that moment is stuck in my head because it got me excited. I was like, yo, there's probably a lot to explore. This is gonna be really cool. That's another moment that's kind of just embedded in my brain.
It's stuck in my head for different reasons. When I first played, Paimon mentioned something when we got to the statue of the Seven, and I, with my 10,000 British IQ, said, "How many are there?"
What?
As in, like, regions, like how many seven are there?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened. So I always remember that moment too for very different
You heard it here.
reasons.
Bran can't count to 7, or at least past it.
Genshin on the surface level is a very cutesy game, right? It's very well-designed characters, beautiful to look at. The whole scenery is incredibly stunning. Nothing could possibly ever go wrong. What was the first moment you remember thinking, whoa, maybe this game isn't as pretty as I thought it was? Or like, not that, but like a little bit darker than I anticipated. Even like dark jokes or dark humor or dark anything.
You know, the funny thing is the first time that I actually felt like that, it was a Dainsleif one. It was the one in the chasm with Dainsleif.
With the hilly
Yes. And the whole Conria thing. That was the first moment that like I truly felt like they're going dark now. Like it, because like up until that moment there was like little tidbits, but like that quest alone for me was like, oh, we're starting to move toward a new theme, I guess, with Genshin. And then what I've noticed ever since then is like I feel like quests get darker and darker, which I love, and more mature like themes. Like in this last quest, the very recent quest, they talk about suicide, and which is like insane for this game to talk about, right? And I never thought they would. But yeah, that quest and the whole chasm actually in itself, the chasm is where I was like, oh, this is good. Now it's getting really dark. There's probably an earlier time maybe I thought of, but I can't really remember at this point. What about you?
In terms of things getting like really dark, it's not funny, but you'll understand why I'm laughing. God, that's gonna look awful. Enconomia, with a lot of the lore around the ghosts and stuff, and them being sun children. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I know a little bit.
The whole history of it all, but the sun children lore is incredibly depressing. Like insanely depressing. But the first moment was actually incredibly early on when I realized, oh, it's not just a super happy game. Like, it's going to have dark elements to it too. And it was Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember speaking to him, and when he said, just like my daddy, I was like, wait, that's so funny, but it's not. Like, it's really sad.
Timmy made you realize.
Yeah, because you go into this game thinking it's just this happy-go-lucky whatever.
Right.
And then you get hit with that by the first, like, or second actual NPC that you talk to, and it's like, it just catches you so off guard.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I think that's why he's placed there. It really does just catch you completely off guard.
I could see that's why he's probably placed there, for real. Was the Raiden quest before Chasm Quest? The part 2 of Raiden?
I think after.
Okay, I think after as well. Yeah, Raiden's quest part 2 is probably one of the best quests in my opinion, and
it's one of the most sad
that
quests.
One made me tear up. I was like, yo, and I was like, we need more of this. That was another moment too. There's a lot of moments.
Chronologically, we should have seen it coming. The manga came before anything else, and that shit is twisted.
True, I read the manga so late though. I wish I had read it sooner.
Same.
If I would have read the manga first, that would have been the moment. That would have been like, yo, the manga.
Yeah, manga is. If you're watching or listening to this and you haven't read the Genshin manga,
please do.
I cannot recommend it enough. As someone who doesn't really like reading that much and prefers to like watch it, well, I mean, there's videos, both of us have done videos on reading it, so you can watch those if you want instead. But the manga is so good.
It is. I was surprised by how good it was.
Same. I was incredibly shocked. It was incredible.
I was mad that I didn't read it sooner, to be honest with you. I was like, dude, this was really good. And it actually made me appreciate certain characters more. And then I read it just in time for Sumeru, and that was perfect because now I love Colette even more.
Oh,
I know. I need to see Amber and Colette talk in the game.
I want to see if she slaps Kaya when they
Please, yes.
But yeah, the manga really is incredible. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole Genshin story, to be honest.
I wish they came up with a physical edition of it. I'd buy it right off the bat.
Same, that would be cool. Another thing as well. This is a little bit of theory stuff popping off here, but it is what it is. So we've read the manga. Yeah. We saw Dottore in the manga. We know that the Lawrence clan was a thing. Obviously not. I don't think Eula was in the manga.
She was not, no.
But Dottore looks very different in the manga to what he looks like now.
Right.
Or at least this segment of him, right? Yes. In the manga, it's kind of the cracked mask.
The Phantom of the Opera type looking. Yeah.
And now his current design, did you notice any similarities? Or that it's like pretty much if you
he still has a mask.
It's identical?
That's for sure.
Oh, you haven't seen it then. Hold on. Yeah, have you ever noticed the immense similarities in design across like the entire outfit? So they've both got the blue hair. They both have the headpiece. He has the mask. She has the like thing on the side of the head. Where Eula's vision is, that gold thing, Dottore's got the thing on the same side.
Yeah, they're very similar.
The cave is the same. They've both got a necktie with the colors.
What the fuck?
Like the outfits are incredibly similar. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, I wonder if either Dottore or Eula is like a descendant of Dottore or part of the same clan or anything, or if he took a lot of inspiration from the Lawrence clan in Mondstadt because Dottore and the Harbingers spent a lot of time in Mondstadt and he had to base the segment designs off of something, right?
I think it's that one. I think he based it off of that.
I think it could be too.
For real.
It's very, very cool though because they are very similar in design.
See, what I was going to say,
a hell of a lot of parallels.
What I was going to say is that we find out that Dottore, and one of the biggest brain explosions I've had in this game is that we realize that he can shapeshift. Maybe that's why he changed his like look. Maybe, that was where I was going with it. Like maybe he changed his look because he could just change. He could just do it. But he also has different versions of him too, right? Like clones.
Exactly. So. Yeah. But to me, I agree with you. The shapeshift thing is very, very odd. I think it needs a bit more explanation.
I think they did it on purpose because they wanted us to think, have we met Dottore? And here are you Dottore? Are you Dottore? Have you been Dottore?
Oh yeah, you like Genshin Impact? Name every villain.
Dottore.
Touche. Do you have anything that you wanted to ask or bring up or discuss before we move on to the community focused stuff?
No, I think we could just go on to that. Because I don't want to do too much in the first episode, I
feel like this one is more of a just kind of get to know me and you and vibe with us and hear our thoughts on everything so far. And then the next ones are going to be more focused on the updates and
I do have a question for you then. Would you want to see another element in Genshin?
Yes.
What would you want it to be?
Light.
Ooh, that'd be kind of sick.
Yeah.
Oh, could you?
I want the light element.
That'd be cool. Or like you could get someone with mirrors, maybe. That'd be kind of cool.
I don't know if you know this. There is a name card in Genshin called Colors of the Rainbow, and it has Dendro, Animo, Pyro, Electro, Cryo, Geo, and Hydro on it.
It's missing a lot of space.
Yeah, so it's missing quite a few spaces, and it's also like the colors of the rainbow.
Right.
And everyone knows like the colors of the rainbow are light and like refraction and stuff like that. This is like a different version of it, but still in the game. So it looks like there's one missing.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Which I think could either be like an abyss element or light.
Ooh.
Which either way would be really cool. I think for...
Could you see light and dark, maybe?
Yes, but I can only see us unlocking access to one of them in the Tevat chapter.
I see.
And I think light would make the most sense there. And then if we do get like an abyss chapter or a chapter more focused on dark instead of light, I feel like we could get like a corrupted version or like abyssal energy or something in that
would
one.
Be sick.
Personally, I think it'd be super cool.
That would be sick.
Yeah. What about you?
Same. I want to be like more like, I've thought about like poison, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know how they would do that, but
well, they could easily do it. I mean, they could do it like
a dark poison type thing. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Well, think of like the black sludge in the chasm.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Could do something like that, but with like damage, or even the areas in Sumeru with the I forget the word.
It too. I know what you mean though, like those like reddish type areas. Yeah, that'd be sick. That's what I would want, but I would want more elements because I like the ones we have now, cool. But I want more.
I feel like a poison element, and this might just be me thinking of other games that I've played, like ESO and stuff. Poison does typically go really well with like physical builds. So having like usually like in like ESO, it's an archer usually, and you can change your arrows to like poison arrows. Imagine like with Eula being able to coat her blade with poison. That
would be cool. Or like in Dark Souls, how like, you know, you can like infuse your weapons with like different like lightning fire. You can do like poison or something. They're kind of cool.
So I do have a thought as well that I think could be really cool, and it's kind of along those lines, but not quite. I do think at one point, whether it's for one moment in the story or a permanent unlock, I don't know, or just nothing. But I imagine the Traveler's going to get access to the light element once they gain all the elements back. And that's probably how we end up unlocking it. Maybe just for the Traveler.
I could see that. I actually had a clip that I did like a little theory for, where it's like I would want like a character, it's probably gonna be the Traveler, that can wield all of the elements, right? But in the same time, where you can switch like a weapon wheel, right? But like an element wheel or something.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
kind of like in The Witcher, so where like you can do like Igni or, you know, all the other stuff.
Yeah, you can do all of them.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, it's sick. Wait, different game. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it'd be super cool. They've already got the gadget wheel.
True. So you could just...
They could quite literally just make it so that you could hold like C or something to scroll through the wheel and select what element you want to use, for sure. Yeah,
I think that, and then Traveler just becomes the ultimate 5-star. I think that's sick.
Let me get your thought on something else then, because this is a discussion I had a while ago. You played Honkai a bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
You know, like how you can get different battle suits for the same character? Yes. How would you feel about different versions of the same character in Genshin? So, hear me out here, because a lot of people hated this idea because they think you need to pay more to unlock the full potential of a character that they already own. But, imagine Tartaglia, but his Electro form.
Ooh. Yeah.
So then you could like hold C and switch between the Hydro form and the big keep boss fight Electro. I forget the name of it, but you know what I mean.
Right. I think what would be cool is like you get the character, and then there are different versions of that character, maybe like 2 or 3, maybe at max, that you have to unlock. A special criteria that you have to unlock in the game by playing the game, not paying it or anything, but like you have to like hit certain challenges or certain milestones in order to unlock them. And then like for future, I'm already thinking ahead, like for dungeons and stuff, I'll bring my Electro Tartaglia and stuff like that.
I would,
but maybe that's too much. I don't know.
I would absolutely adore that. I never see them doing it.
You don't think people would like that?
I think people would love it.
I think so.
I don't think Hoyoverse would.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
I think they'd see it as... I mean, it definitely incentivizes people to pull for the original character more, but...
Sure.
I feel like... I mean, the Electro Tartaglia is basically a 5-star skin in itself. Right? So, being able to unlock it in the game without spending, I just don't think they'd do it in that form, which is why a lot of people hated the idea in the first place. But, I agree with you, if it was obtainable in-game, 100%, I think it'd be a fantastic idea. Kind of brings me on to something else as well. I had an idea a while back. One of my favorite parts about ESO is a lot of the skins are tied to really difficult challenges in the game.
Yeah.
Instead of buying them. So it's like complete this activity without dying or whatever. Can you imagine if we got a weapon when we started the game? The dull blade even. It doesn't even need to be a good weapon, right? But we get a weapon and we can unlock different appearances for it based on a lot of different things. So let's say you kill 100 Hilichurls and the sword goes from just a plain sword to like have a Hilichurl mask on the hilt.
Yeah.
And then 1,000 Hilichurls is it gets like the Hilichurl fur around the handle or something. 10,000 Hilichurl kills it, and because then And like even other stuff as well. Ajdaha kills, the hilt turns into the horns.
Sure.
And then Dvalin kills, it gets winged.
Yeah.
Stuff like just aesthetically different. Doesn't have to do better, doesn't have to do anything else, but aesthetically pleasing stuff that you can farm for in game to just make you not run past that bunch of hillagers.
So the reason why I laughed is because Audie and I have talked about this, and we would love that. We want that. We would want like weapon customization, pretty much, where
yes, 100%.
like, and even for 5-star weapons, I think you should do it, where certain milestones or achievements or challenges that incentivize you to play more, do other activities in the game that you might have not normally done to unlock cooler looking weapons or different types of like looks for weapons. Like, for instance, I want a red fiery aqua simulacra. You know, you can unlock this type of look for it by doing headshots with the bow, or like this many, or whatever, or like something like that.
Or like destroy 1,000 pyro abyss mage shields with the bow to make it pyro.
Yeah, see, for me, I love that kind of stuff because I love grinding in video games, and I would love to grind for this cool thing I want. And even if it's just like kill 1,000 whatever, I would do it. I would have a whole stream where I just do it.
Same.
You know,
I would adore that. I've been talking about that for months. I think it'd be an incredible addition they could add.
Yeah.
It'd probably take quite a bit of dev work to come up with a lot of challenges and designs and aesthetics and stuff, but I think it'd be so worth it.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
Yeah, that would be so sick if they did that. Even for like, I don't know if they would do this far, but like skins for characters. I don't know if they would go that far with it, but that would be cool if they did that, because like maybe they keep the characters looking the same because of lore purposes, but like, I mean, I'm a sucker for having my character look different than other people, you know, and I would love that.
See, if they do it, if they did do it at any like particular point, I could see them keeping the same strategy, I guess, that they've got for characters by making the skins purchasable to make money, because it does work. But I do feel like for weapons, it would more so incentivize people to pull on the weapon banner if you could change the look of the weapon for aesthetics. So I don't think they'd need to make the weapon skins buyable, because at the end of the day, who's going to want to pay $100 or $50 for a skin for a weapon that already cost them $500-$600?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, that would be cool. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think that'd be enough though to get people to pull on the weapon banner?
Genuinely speaking, I think it would for a lot of people.
You think so? Yeah.
Like can you imagine, dude? I would absolutely, I don't even have one, but like a wolf's gravestone. Can you imagine a wolf's gravestone being like blue?
That would be cool. Because then I want to put it on different characters. Like, because wolf's gravestone is one of Eula's best weapons, but it does not look good on her, in my opinion. It just doesn't fit the aesthetic. Yeah. But if you can make it blue and make it,
imagine making it that like ice cream blue, like Eula's, or like Chongyun as well. It would look good on both of them.
Yeah. No, that would be sick. I would love that.
Same.
Maybe one day they'll do that.
I think that's probably the one thing that I would love to add to Genshin.
Weapon skins.
Earnable weapon skins.
That would be cool.
Because the whole reason that I love it is because they are earnable, and it's like a cosmetic that you have to earn instead of buy. Right. I think it'd be great. Just add it to the achievements list and make the weapon change. I don't know. I just think it'd be really cool. I really do.
You could totally do it. I mean, because like Destiny does that.
Yeah, it does.
I'm trying to think of like my
ornaments.
Yeah, and like my Vigilance wing, I have a different skin on it because I hit some sort of achievement or I did something for it. So like you could just totally do that, but in Genshin.
Yeah, easily. I think it'd be a really good thing to do. Let's move on to a couple of community-asked questions. Okay. There weren't many because, again, not a lot of people really knew this was going to be a thing, especially not specifically today. I didn't really give much warning apart from that one YouTube community post, which is hilarious.
They all knew it was me. I should have put my hat on.
Yeah. Well, people were like, it's definitely Doro. So on stream, I was like, oh, maybe I knew you'd think that. So maybe I just photoshopped Doro's hair onto someone else. And they were like, oh, shit, wait.
Oh,
what?
Let's go. Like, that's funny. The gaslighting.
It worked a little bit. Yeah. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Let's go. I'll start with a pretty broad question. What do you expect or hope for in Fontaine? Because, hear me out here, not that far away.
It's not. It's going to probably be, this August, if we go off of past patches.
Like half a year?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I feel like Sumeru just came out, man.
Sick.
And like, we're already going to get Fontaine this year, which I'm excited for. What I'm hoping for, the Jonathan posted this on Twitter, and it hyped me up because I was like, if that happens, that'd be sick. A bustling city, right? And domains are within the city and stuff like that. I think that would be, and like street gangs and stuff like, I think that'd be so cool. But straying away from that, from my own personal thing, I would want, I guess, a more interesting city. Like, I love Mondstadt, but it's very simple. I would want, to a degree, there are stuff to explore, but like I would want it to be more jam-packed with stuff, is what I would want.
Yeah, no, I think you're completely right. I think Mondstadt right now is very simple. Yeah. Although I do expect that we're going to revisit Mondstadt at some point. Endgame.
But yeah, that's what I would want with Fontaine, is just like more jam-packed, like secrets to find, things to find, and like things to do within the actual city of it, you know? I feel like Sumeru was already kind of doing that with like the academia and all the shops, and like I feel like Sumeru City is like really jam-packed. So something along those lines, maybe. I don't know. What about you?
I agree with you. I think Sumeru City is really jam-packed, but, and correct me if I'm wrong here from what I got from you, is it more so you want things to actually do in the city? Like, because in Sumeru City at the minute, what do you actually do when you're not doing quests?
Right. I would want more
crafting table, Catherine.
Normal stuff that you do in a city, right? I want stuff to actually do, like activities. Yeah.
So like, Mondstadt now has the cat's tail that you can go in to play TCG stuff.
Stuff like that.
Stuff like that. Okay.
You can even put one domain in there, and that still would enhance the city, in my opinion, because the domain's within the city, right? That'd be kind of cool. I don't know.
Do you think it's going to be steampunk?
I hope. Man, so I was talking about this on my stream yesterday. I asked people, like, what do you guys think Fontaine's going to look like? And I'm thinking steampunk, or, and I don't know if they'll do it, but like kind of Bloodborne-esque, maybe not as gothic, but somewhat of the same architecture, you know?
Oh, dude, I know exactly what you mean. Like the
gothic feel, I think, would be really cool. But they might save that for Snezhnaya.
Snezhnaya is going to be based on Russia, right? I think.
Yeah, but I'm going off of that Harbinger trailer and how everything seemed very cold and gothic in their room. So I'm thinking Snezhnaya would be that gothic-esque era, and Fontaine's more like a steampunky industrial thing.
What's the word for the Bloodborne aesthetic? Not gothic. I mean, it is, but there's a word, and it always slips my mind.
It's an author, H.P. Lovecraftian.
Yes, Lovecraftian. Yeah, Lovecraft. I'd love something like that in Genshin. It would be very cool. Oh my god,
that'd be so cool. It'd be a perfect time to introduce scythes too.
Oh, dude, true. It would.
Be so freaking awesome.
Fontaine is the land of, like, I think it's judgment.
Yes.
Right? There's a lot of law, as in LAW law, and things like that. The thing that I want from Fontaine is some totally unexpected story plot that nobody sees coming. Whether it's Celestia judges Fontaine and sends a nail down and we get to see the nail in action, or whether it's like the Archon doesn't follow the beliefs that an Archon should, so they get like stripped of Archonhood, or rebel against Celestia or something. Just something that is fitting for the theme, but also not many people would just expect to happen.
Sure.
Also, don't hate me, but if done well, a first playable character death.
Okay, now going off of that, would that be sick? I was thinking it's the land of law, judgment, right? What if someone dies and it gets pinned on the traveler, and then you have to clear your name?
I can
and then Ace Attorney, like, hey, you know, you gotta.
I did it, and I did it.
Paimon be like, "Yeah, we did it."
I call Venti to the stand. Objection.
Now where's my wine? Yeah, but no, like something like where like a character dies or someone dies and then it gets pinned on the traveler or something, and then it's like all like law and like you gotta clear your name or something like that. Kind of sick. I don't know.
Like, Yanfei? Yeah, I need guidance.
I saw a theory of like that of Yanfei actually coming back to be very important in the story, especially in Fontaine. It was someone's theory on Twitter, so I mean, I could see it happening.
Yeah,
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool though.
Adepti lawyer. Yeah, it would be very cool. It'd be interesting.
Because apparently, what she's the Archon is not evil, but like very like.
I think it's strict, the same kind of. Yeah, I think it's the same. Not the same, but very similar to like how Raiden was in Inazuma, right? She was feared.
Yeah. So maybe it'd be something similar to that, where it's like we have to get Inazuma back to a place where it's open to people coming in and being a more happier place. Maybe the same thing with Fontaine. I wouldn't want that just because I don't want them to repeat that. I want something new, but maybe something along those lines. I don't know.
I kind of want it to be almost a polar opposite. A wanted an eternity where like only she was and everything, and I kind of want Fontaine to be us working with the Archon to establish law and order on Celestia or the Abyss or something.
Okay.
Just something totally out of left field. But
maybe the city being overrun by like, you know, bad guys or something, and then we have to bring order back to Fontaine or something like that. Kind of sick. Kind of cool. Get D-Luke to be Batman or something.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Oh hell yeah!
There you go.
Yeah, no, that could be pretty interesting. I'd be down for that.
I don't know.
And then the next question is kind of in ties with this one. An NPC in Sumeru mentions that you can get a diving license in Fontaine. Would diving to new areas or a diving license be something you'd want to see in the game?
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. I don't know. Have you played Horizon Forbidden West, the new one? Okay. You can dive now in that game, and there's like underwater areas. That would be cool if they did that, and then you'd have underwater areas, underwater like caverns and stuff like that to explore. That would be awesome if they did that. Oh, dude, that'd be so cool.
It'd be very cool, but I'm going to be totally honest. I think the only way that I can see them doing it is by, and again, I could definitely see this happening, given as like an upgraded wave rider that can go underwater.
Ooh, like one of those things that you hold on to, right? Like divers have, and it has like the two fans on the side, and like you can like take it around. Yeah, they're kind of cool.
Yeah, or like a mini sub or something. Because if it's going to be steampunk and stuff, which would be very cool, I could easily see them making modifications to the damn boat.
Right.
But the reason I say that is because they for everything that they've added so far, they've had to make it at least like lore accurate. Sure. Paimon does not like being separated from the Traveler at all, and she can't fucking swim.
That's also true.
Unless we get like a little bubble she can go in.
That'd be kind of cool.
Something cool like that. That would be interesting. It'd be fun. I do think underwater exploration would add a whole new level of depth to the whole game. I think it would also make sense because there are still some underground areas in other regions that we haven't explored yet. If you look at the map of Mondstadt, the lake that Klee blew up, the underground ruins there, you can still see the map under the Favonius library and everything. And there's currently no way to get down there unless we get a way to go into there when we get Dormant Paw, which I'm going to assume we're going to get that before Fontaine. I really hope we get Dormant Paw soon.
I feel like we should.
We've got 6 months, so I don't know. I think we'll probably get another 3 new areas.
Think so?
Before Fontaine. Yeah, because there's got to be a new Sumeru area.
Yeah.
Because we can't max out the tree yet.
That's true.
I would assume we're going to get Dorman Port with a Mika quest because he's the expedition leader and stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then not this time, but the last time Lieben was here, he mentioned that there's another tea village in Liyue that leads to Fontaine. So I reckon that'll be like the leading point into Fontaine, getting the new tea village in Liyue.
Yeah. That would be cool.
I think it'd make sense,
Yeah.
right?
And I mean, we've got like what, 8 months, 9 months until that happens. So there's a lot of time. So definitely I can see that happening for sure.
6 months.
I don't know. I dropped out of college. I'm a streamer. I don't do math.
Even then, dude, I still can't believe it's 6 months. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. It's still a long time though.
Next
Okay.
one. Coming back to Sumeru stuff.
Okay.
Curious to see your thoughts on this, since she's one of your favorite characters as well, at least gameplay wise. I don't know about lore wise. Do you think that Raiden will get involved with anything soon because of what happened to Scaramouche? Also, do you think that it was the... Well, okay, we'll do that question first. Do you think Raiden will get involved with anything soon because of the whole Scara stuff?
No. I don't see it. I really don't see it.
Do you want her to?
I mean, more Bulbasaur the better. But I love seeing characters, you know, interact in new regions and with other characters. I just don't see it happening. I don't know. I feel like the whole Scara thing is kind of like done for now, you know? I more so see like Dainsleif or something coming back into play.
Yeah, he's due. He should be back soon.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I don't really see Raiden though anytime soon. What about you?
I don't want her to get involved because, well, number one, the Irminsul wipe, she forgot Scaramouche
True.
entirely. Number two, I feel like it wouldn't be good for Wanderer's character development from this point on. If they're trying to redeem him, I'm still upset that they tried to redeem him even to an extent. I feel like bad guys can still be playable without being totally redeemed, which he's not being totally redeemed.
I was gonna say he's not. That was
But
what I liked about this quest though. That he tried to do that, and then they was like, no, that's not gonna happen. You know, you have to face what you've done. You have to face who you are and get over it in a sense and be better going forward. That's what I really liked that they did.
Yeah. You know, I hated that quest at first.
Yeah.
Despised it.
A lot of people did because they don't like the whole Irminsul deleting memory thing.
I think it's very cool. I just didn't like how soon they did it again, because I was like, oh god, are they just gonna keep doing this to like make characters?
I think people don't like it is because
good.
it's like a scapegoat where you can just use that.
Yeah.
Which I get, but I don't know.
After like a week, I agree with your point of view on it that you said just then. It took a while for me to realize it, but like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a redemption. It was an attempted redemption, a fake redemption that got shut down.
Yeah.
And he realized and asked for his memories back so we could remember what he'd done. So
yeah.
So I don't think it'd be good for his character development if Raiden did come back, because he'd remember her, she wouldn't remember him.
Right. I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah, I think if anything, when it comes to Wanderer, Scaramouche, Wanderer, Mechamouche, whatever you want to call him, the one playable character I would want him to meet is Kazuha.
Ooh, okay.
Because of the whole Raiden Gokuden thing, and, you know, killing the ancestors and everything that happened between those two. He said he wants to apologize to him, and I feel like we'll get to see them meet at some point. But I don't want Kazuha to just instantly be like, oh, it's in the past, and whatever way the
you
wind
know
blows.
he would say that.
You
He's
know?
like, I'm on a journey right now, a spiritual journey, and it's all okay.
Yeah, and then Tignari comes along and he's like, yeah, me
One
too,
with the
bro.
forest.
The mushrooms. Sniff them in the butt. Oh, but yeah, I could see him being like that. But then I could also see the instincts of like when he fought Raiden and Tomo's visions flashed to him and he was like, anger mode, I'm Kazuha and I'm big and strong, maple leaves.
Canadian.
Like,
yeah.
Canada.
Well, no, that's the thing. That's the cool thing about Kazuha is like, he's very like mellow, chill. Then he's got those moments where he's just like, I gotta.
It's like he flips the switch.
He's like completely different, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though. I do like it. I think it's really cool. He fights for what he thinks is right.
Yeah.
Right, and fights he does. But yeah, I'd like to see that more than Raiden.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want them to use Raiden as like, this is gonna sound stupid, but like, you know how Pikachu in Pokemon is like, you look at Pikachu, you think of Pokemon. I don't want Raiden to be that thing where it's like, Raiden's the biggest thing in Genshin. We are going to use Raiden, you know, for like these big things. Like, I just want her to be another character. And she's an Archon, great, but I don't want her to be like the most important thing where you have to fit her in with a bunch of different stuff, you know? There's so many different awesome characters in this game. I would not want him to like reunite with her or anything like that, you know.
Like Diluc's another awesome character in this game, probably the most awesome, actually, better than Raiden.
Honestly, if him and like Diluc just like kissed or something, like it'd be
Kazuha and Diluc. Oh god. Yeah, I agree with you. Like the symbol of the game, right?
Right, because I mean they used her in a lot of marketing,
really
I remember like when the iPads were like coming out, right? Like the new ones, they were like using a lot of Raiden because she's so flashy and cool looking. I don't want her to become like a mascot in a sense, you know. So it's like don't overuse her. Don't overuse any characters.
100% agree. Apart from maybe the Travelers.
True. I mean that just makes sense.
Do you think that it was the right thing that the Traveler didn't mention to Nahida about Greater Lord Ruka Devata?
I think it was the right thing because why say it? You know, let her believe and like live that she's like her own person in a sense, right? And like her own thing, and not being like, hey, by the way, you know how you think, you know, you're your own person, like all of this stuff. Well, actually, it's not true. And now let me break all your hopes and dreams in a sense, right? I think it was a good thing to be like, because if you remember the quest and stuff with Nahida, she was so unsure of herself and didn't believe in herself, and like kind of felt like she lived in the shadow of Ruka Devata. And then the whole point of getting rid of that was to empower Nahida and, you know, give her that confidence that she needed to be an Archon. And I think not telling her was the best thing.
I think it's also just the best thing in terms of respecting Ruka Devata's wish.
That too. Yeah, that's what she wanted.
World forget me, and the whole world forget me, and the fact that she like explicitly said, "You will forget me." To Nahida, like
the thing is too,
let it be.
If you were to tell her, it would take away from that very powerful moment that they had when they were hugging, right? And that part was, and I'm getting chills right now thinking about it. Like that part was so emotional, so amazing. You would just take away from that moment if you were just like, hey, by the way, this person you forgot, this is who they are, you know? Yeah.
And like, by the way, they look way cooler than you, and I would rather have them as a playable character, but I'm not going to say that out loud.
Sorry. No, I think it was completely the right call.
Yeah, I agree. I want to ask a question based on what I just said as well. Okay. Story-wise, at the minute, who do you think has been the best Archon? Like, I guess best is subjective, but like most impactful to the story and to us and to you as a person.
You know what? It would have been Raiden. And at first I did not like Nahida. I was like, you're just annoying. I don't know.
Let's go, the cabbage gang.
It became Nahida. I think Sumeru and the Archon quest really ramped up Genshin Impact story-wise for me. And I didn't even think it could get better than Raiden stuff, and it did. And the game made me love Nahida and become my favorite Archon. Like, story-wise, at least, it was just the development and everything, and the emotional impact, dude, for real. Nahida, I think that whole story and just like her finding herself and the empowerment and just like the forgetting, and I think honestly she's the most helpful one so far.
Hugely agree. Well, from what we know, I completely agree. Have you heard the theory of, have you completed Lantern right yet?
Yes I did.
Have you heard the theory about Guizhong?
No.
I'm gonna just send you the image with no context, but you'll understand instantly.
Oh.
So Guizhong, the person who loved making mechanical inventions,
I see,
has a scarily similar design to Sandrone of the Harbingers, who also likes to make mechanical inventions. And Zhongli, who was very, very close to Guizhong, famously made the contract to end all contracts a very long time ago, but still, with the Saritsa in Snezhnaya, where the Fatuio. I don't think it will be a thing, but I think it's a very cool parallel, even if it is just that, a parallel.
Right.
That Guizhong and Sandrone share a hell of a lot of similarities. But I have a feeling it'll end up being a Baiju is Pantalone thing where they just look similar.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though. It can't just be a coincidence, right? It could be
No.
Maybe they all look similar to like other people is because maybe kind of going back to like the Doro thing, right? How he looked completely different and then got inspiration from like the Lawrence clan, possibly. Maybe the Harbingers, like maybe I'm not saying they can all shapeshift, but like maybe they aren't what they really look like. You know what I mean?
That'd be very interesting.
Maybe the Harbingers are like more of like a astral looking being or like a demon or maybe some sort of evil like thing, and then they did take on a human form or something, and then they take inspiration from other people. Maybe that's far-fetched. I don't know.
I think lore-wise, I think it could make sense, but only for the top few, because like even Archons can't do that, right? Well, I mean, Zhongli, Rex Lapis, Venti,
could be. Maybe the Harbingers are like the evil versions of Archons or something.
You still haven't played through Kingdom Hearts yet, so I can't really say anything. But there is a very famous thing in a lot of different games, and it's I think it's the 7 lights and 13 darknesses. 7 lights makes sense because 7 Archons. 13 darknesses could be the 11 is there 11 Harbingers, I think, right?
Yes.
11 Fatui Harbingers, but then you've also got, if you want to class the Sarita, who wouldn't be classed as a Harbinger, and you've also got a potential of a secret Harbinger if, like people say, Piero is not the first and is just the leader. And there could be another Harbinger there. So it could be another case of the 7 lights and 13 darknesses, just like in Kingdom Hearts, there's 7 lights and I'm not going to spoil anything. It's not a spoiler, thank God. But yeah, 7 and 13 are very big numbers in this kind of thing, and already Genshin shares a hell of a lot of parallels with Kingdom Hearts, including the whole chess stuff. So I think the 7-13 thing could definitely be a
That'd be
thing.
sick.
and again, I think it could also be that the Harbingers purposefully share similarities with other characters that do similar things, maybe in different ways, to show that it's not always what it looks like. Like, don't judge a book by its cover, you know? Because
you can also be like different dimensions.
Like
do you think they would introduce that?
Well, I mean, they already have.
Well, yeah. But then, like, do you think like the Harbingers are like maybe copies, but like from different dimensions with different names and stuff like that? I don't know if they'd go that far-fetched with it.
Honkai spoilers ahead. Please skip to the time on the screen if you want to avoid.
I have a theory about. I don't want to spoil Honkai for you.
You can spoil it. I'm not gonna play it probably.
Okay, so do you know that there is an Irminsul tree in Honkai?
I don't know.
I'll show you this. You can tell me if you think it looks like the Irminsul or not. But I will say it login does.
100. It's the same color.
Yeah, and look at the roots and the cubes on the roots.
Yeah, that's 1 million.
It's the same fucking thing, right? Do you also know that Sumeru's in Honkai?
No way.
So Sumeru is a different thing in Honkai, but it does exist. It's not like the whole place. It's like the seed of Sumeru. But as far as I know, and I could be wrong about this, obviously Honkai spoilers, I think it's like it's a bubble universe. But it was also confirmed, apparently, as far as I now know, by Hoyoverse themselves, that Genshin is a bubble universe of Honkai.
Interesting. Well, if you think about like a tree and its branches and how everything branches off, different like timelines, different stuff like that.
That's what that is. So that's the imaginary tree.
Okay.
Very, very similar thing. I mean, there's also nothing saying that the Irminsul tree is that doesn't have bubble universes in it somewhere.
Right.
I think it definitely.
You think Star Rail and ZZZ would also be
100%.
Oh.
100%. But, and here's the thing. I need to get further into Honkai to understand it more, because I don't know yet. But there is a guy in Honkai called Otto Apocalypse who, like, wants to learn a lot more about this tree and find the bubble universes. You remember when Sumeru first came out, or even before it came out, and we got the trailers, and we saw Doro burning the huge ass tree.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, I think it's just a metaphor. And like, it hasn't happened yet, so it's not gonna happen. I still firmly believe that it's gonna happen. I don't think they would show it in 2 different trailers, a promotional thing, a PV, and in a trailer, if it wasn't going to happen at some point. But it got me thinking when I learned all of this stuff, because people are right. If he burns the Sumeru Ermin Soul tree, that's going to have way too many in-game complications for my brain to even work around.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, he has a lot of different segments. He said he's deleted all of his segments. What if he has a segment that's not into that? And the experiment in Blasphemy was burning a different Ermin Soul tree in a different bubble universe, whether that's Honkai or a bubble universe inside this tree or the other bubble tree. Like, because I still think a tree is going to burn.
It has to. They wouldn't have done that just for nothing, right?
I don't think they would either. But yeah, I did think maybe he's in a different dimension, different bubble universe, and seeing what this experiment's going to do. The experiment in Blasphemy was something different, right? It was it was during the Archon quest, I think, where he wanted to see if he could like mind control Sumeru people.
That's interesting.
But yeah, I definitely think, because also in Honkai, on one of the screens, it's this. I can send you this. You notice anything similar on this screen?
Why does that look like Dvalin?
It is Dvalin.
Wow. You think we'll ever see everything like combined together, maybe? Or like cross paths at some point, maybe?
I think crossing paths, definitely. I still don't really understand how Fischl got into Honkai yet.
but that's the thing, though. But like that is another thing. Maybe it's like a teaser as to like these characters can, you know, we might cross paths in the future, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's a lot of very similar, like big similarities with Raiden Shogun and Raiden, whatever her name is in Honkai. Raiden Mei. Raiden Mei. Hello. There's a lot of similarities. To be something like that. I don't know. They'd have to go really crazy with it though, which would be cool. I'd be totally down for that.
I have 2 more questions here. One of these is a long one, so I'll go through it, and then, because I haven't read this yet, what kind of major lore event do y'all want to happen in the game? We're about midway through, some would say past midway, and I feel like though the story has been getting really good, we still don't have the critical point which changes everything or is really, really defining to the overall plot. There seems to be a lot of world building, and I want to hear what you might think it's leading to, or what you want it to lead to.
I want an Archon quest.
Booba.
Booba and Buddha. I want a full Archon quest where we are on the other side. We're on Lumine's point of view. We play as her in an Archon quest or something, and like from her point of view. I don't know what it would be for, but like to give us like an insight as to, while we're playing as the Traveler, I'm just gonna say Ether just for continuity. While we're playing everything as Ether, we flip sides and we play as Lumine and what she's doing, just to give us more insight as to there's something bigger going on. And I think that's what Genshin needs to do maybe sometime soon, is to show you, yeah, things have been kind of going crazy, but you have no idea how crazy things are going to be and like what's going on in the background. We've been getting little snippets. We've been getting a little like, oh yeah, she's doing something. I want us to like flip sides, you know? That'd be cool. Meet completely new characters, a new area, whatever.
I think I could probably see it happening as well. Thinking about it lore-wise, like how we'd even see through a different perspective. If you know, Wanderer's Collective Miscellany, narrated by Alice, because a lot of people think she's a descender. Dainsley forgot who Wanderer was. He can't possibly do a Collective Miscellany on him. Alice remembers. She mentions at the end of that Collective Miscellany, she's like, and I love my job. I get to see life from so many different perspectives. And I'm like, I wonder how. And then it brought the question on back to me of like the name of a vision in the original language in Chinese was like an Eye of God. And if they are granted by Adepti or Celestia, can people see through them? Are they monitoring devices? And I wonder if that's the job Alice has been tasked with, and how she also manages to constantly keep an eye on Klee without ever being spotted in Mondstadt.
True.
if she can see through visions.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe at some point we get to meet another one of these vision watchers, and Lumine's traveling with somebody with a vision, and we can see through that and see that perspective there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, they'd probably do something similar to that. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I want more of Alice. That's another thing too.
Same,
because Alice is doing a lot more than we know and think and even remember of. Like, I met this NPC, right, where he stutters, and he used to have a stutter, and then now he mimics everything that you say. And yeah. So I made a clip of this actually. He's in Leeway. His name is I forget what his name is, but you talk to him. He goes, "Hey, what's going on?" And he repeats exactly what you say, and then you're like, "Okay, interesting." There's another guard right next to him that you go over to, and he's like, "Hey, what's wrong with that guy?" He goes, "He used to have this stuttering problem, but then this girl named Alice, they say Alice, helped like fix him, but now he can only mimic what everyone says." And then someone in my chat was like, "What if he can't even introduce himself like at all because she kind of cursed him?" And like,
yeah, that's cursed.
Now he can't even say what his real name is because he can only say what you say to him. And so like, she's doing a lot more in the world of Genshin than you even like know of, you know? I never knew about this NPC until I found him. It's crazy stuff. I think she has a lot more power than we realize.
I agree. Yeah.
Speaking of, who do you think the voice was at the end of the Archon quest?
Istaroth.
That's the Fontaine Archon?
No, Istaroth, God of Time.
Ooh, okay.
Have you ever done the hidden quest in Mondstadt?
Probably not.
The Thousand Winds Island, the one that's invisible on the map that you can glide to.
No.
You need to do it.
Whoa.
Gives you a lot of information about Istaroth. Well, a bit. I won't spoil too much. I think it's Istaroth. Based on, and I think the reason that she spoke to us was because meddling with time once, or trying to, for Nahida and Ruka devata is one thing. Twice for Wanderer as well is pushing it a bit too far, and I think she's like, you know what, maybe fucking tone it down a little bit.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts anyway. Did you think it was Alice?
No, it doesn't sound like Alice. I really didn't know who it was. I just wanted to see what you thought, but that makes sense. That'd be cool. I also don't think it's the next Archon, because how would she?
I hope not.
Yeah, that'd be a little cheap. I don't know. Because they did it with Nahida. I don't want them to do it with the next Archon, and I want them to do it every single Archon. You know, like, hey, Traveler.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got on your mind, but
why did you turn Mickey? Hey, Traveler.
Well, because Disney has their fingers in everything. I don't know.
Hot dog.
But yeah, I don't know. That'd be cool though if it was like the person of time or whatever. God of time.
Yeah, I think it'd be very cool. Do you know about like the Moon Sisters?
Who?
Oh god, we might have to do a lore masterclass one of these days where we just go over an absolute shitload of lore.
No, please, because the thing is, I mean, my community and people who watch me know this is like, I like the lore, I love the stories, but like, I don't deep dive into it, and it's hard to keep up with. And there's already so much stuff that I already do. It's like I forget things too.
Right. Well, that's it. Even if you do deep dive it, it's super difficult to remember everything.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff is really fucking hidden away. Like pretty much all of the Moon Sister lore, even though it's very prominent in the game, it's all hidden away in things like Battle Pass cutscenes, and like the Before Sun and Moon book in Enconia.
Yeah.
There's so much lore in that thing.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot. It's very interesting stuff, but that'd be fun actually to
cool to do.
maybe dedicate one of these to just discussing lore questions. People can ask a bunch of, or give us lore information. And we can discuss it.
That'd be sick.
Not gonna lie, I don't think we really answered that question.
I mean, I answered. I don't think you answered it though.
Yeah, I don't even know how I would answer that though. It's what major lore event would I want to see in game?
All
defining to the overall plot.
Avengers Endgame style. Everyone meets up, and then we defeat Thanos.
Zhongli dying.
You think that would happen?
I think he's the most likely playable character to die.
Huh.
He's already suffering from the effects of erosion, albeit not a hell of a lot, but we've seen what erosion can do with Ashdahar and a few other characters.
Right.
He made the Wait, you've done the dirge of... No, you haven't. Doesn't matter. I can't say what I want to say, but there's a very sus line in there about contracts and ways to end certain types of contracts. Okay. Not between Archons, but still. I think it's still hinting at something. The fact that he always saves the day somehow in a lot of situations. Zhao, Chasm, Liua, a lot of different things. And the fact that now he wants to live out the rest of his days as like an ordinary member of society.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
But he's still got the... And it's the wording of the name, dude. The contract to end all contracts. He's the god of contracts. Right. What else can end all contracts apart from his death?
True.
Like, I don't know. Unless it's that contract. And it's with the Saritsa. I was thinking when people were talking about Guizhong and Columbina looking safe, what if like he made the contract to keep her safe?
Yeah.
Because they were very, very close. But the contract happened way before those events, so timeline didn't really add up.
I could see him dying then, yeah, for sure.
I think it'd be the most likely in terms of playable. There's a lot of playable characters that have major death flags, like Lisa and a lot of others as well. But I could see it, and I think that would be integral to the plot because you've just not only have you just lost one of the strongest Archons in existence. You've lost the god of fucking contracts.
Yeah.
Also, think about Fontaine, which is what? Judgment and law and order? What helps with judgment and law and order? Contracts. What if contracts would have miraculously vanish? What would happen to the laws? And
it'd just be anarchy. It'd be just lawless.
I think it could happen. I think a lot of people would be very upset if it happened.
Sure. I mean, that's the whole point of that, right?
Yeah, and I think it'd have to be done very well for it to be done right, but I could see it. People hate when I say that, because they're like, I don't want Zhongli to die, and it's like, neither do I, but...
It'd be impactful.
I don't think it would, and I don't think killing off playable characters is inherently a bad thing if it's done really well, and it makes sense. And literally everything about Zhongli, it makes sense for me.
No, I could agree with that. No, that'd be... Yeah. It'd be devastating.
Yeah, it'd be fucking awful.
They should do it.
Where are those who share the memory?
That could be like his last like line. Dude.
That brings me on to a separate question, actually. Is there any characters in Genshin that, not like playable characters or main characters, any characters in the game that don't have a solid story yet that you would want to see more of, whether it's from now or in the past, or even like in the anime? Like any character storylines you'd want to see expanded on?
I'd want to see maybe more of like maybe Diana's dad.
Oh, okay.
And like explore that like relationship between them. I think that'd be like a good like.
I feel like that'd be sad.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I would like to see it. I think it'd be to see why she is the way she is and like he is the way he is. I think it'd be great. Do you watch the Last of Us show? Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, they could totally do something like in an anime or something where they explore like for an episode, you know, that relationship.
Oh, 100%.
I think that'd be cool. That's what I would want to see.
I think other than the obvious like Archon War stuff that everybody keeps asking for, I think one thing that I would absolutely love, two things that I would absolutely love to see: the story of Venti and the Nameless Bard. I also want to see that fight because we also see Amos there as well in the cutscene. If you ever noticed that in the bottom right with the
oh yeah.
But I would also want to see Havria, the goddess of salt. You remember Zhongli Act 1 story quest?
Barely.
Bro, that is one of my favorite quests in the entire game.
See, one thing I wish I could do is go back, and I might even make a new account just to like, because when I was playing through that story at that time, I wasn't taking Genshin as seriously like as I would now. And so I wish I could go back and like re-experience the earlier quests to get the lore that I missed.
You know what we should do? We should make a new account. Pick the opposite twin.
Okay.
And play through it together.
That'd be cool.
And make it like a co-op playthrough.
How would you do that though?
It'd be dog shit, but it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be funny. Yeah. I actually didn't even think about Diana's dad. That's a cute one. I think it'd be like a heavy topic that a lot of people could relate to, and also manage to be told really well. That's a really good one. God damn. Good shit. The last question that's on here is maybe talk about how Genshin has changed since the start of the game, or from at least since you started playing, and things like the dangers of gacha. Let's go with the first part first. When did you start playing?
1.5. It was Eula's first banner.
Way before me.
Yeah. It was Eula's first banner. I remember getting Eula and being like, is this good? Is this cool? And then like people like do like her auto attacks and stop on the fourth one. It's a cool pose she does. Ever since then, I never forgot about that. But yeah, I started around then. I feel like it's changed a lot in the sense of the storytelling and the quality, like tremendously. Like
big
character story quests and Archon quests are just getting. I mean, when Sumeru came out, we were all surprised at how long the Archon quest for that was, right? Like that was like 4 hours, 5 hours long.
5 hours.
And we were like, dude, this thing is long. And it's like, so they're getting more intricate with it. So the story has changed. Obviously we've had new areas to explore. We've always had new quality of life updates as well. But I think the biggest thing is just the story and the art, the quests, and how much better they've been getting, which also adds on to the world building and character building as well. I think that's the biggest thing. Otherwise, it's still Genshin, you know, to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I started playing on Tartalia's rerun, whenever the hell that was. I can't remember the exact update patch or anything, but it was Tartag's rerun. I ended up losing 50-50 and getting Chi-Chi.
Nice.
But
welcome to Genshin.
Yeah, I have a C3 now.
I think I have a C5 or C6.
Oh my god, okay. I don't have a C6 5-star yet. But yeah, I started playing then. The way that I think it's changed, this is, I guess, coming at it from a slightly different POV. You said you really liked like the Inazuma Archon quest, right? In my opinion, it was incredible. I still think it was insanely good. I think Leo's Archon quest was better.
Okay.
For one reason and one reason only. Inazuma's Archon quest felt so incredibly rushed when you look back. A lot of plot holes missing and stuff. I mean, poor Tepe. I didn't even know that he was dead until my chat told me after the whole quest was done.
Yep.
Just a lot of stuff that felt like it, with an extra like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, it could have been more fleshed out and just better. Sumeru took its time, delivered on that time.
Yeah.
And sometimes added more than what was needed, but I don't have any issue with that. I'd rather it be more and a little bit of like fluff over not enough, so you have to fill in the gaps yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think the storytelling and the quests and all the quality overall has definitely gone up, and I will say the addition of Dendro
gameplay wise,
completely revamped, or at least revitalized my spark for combat in the game.
I agree with that. With all the new reactions and everything, and new characters and stuff that you get from it, has been awesome.
I didn't used to care. You know, when Dendro came out, I didn't have a single built Electro character.
Really?
I just didn't care about Electro at all.
Okay.
It just bored me. And then built Facial, built Kuki, built a few other Electro characters.
You know, I will say I was the same way. I had Raiden built, but this with Dendro, I built Kaching, who I have a new love for. She's amazing. Kuki is like someone that, if you're watching this, build your Kuki. She's amazing.
90 the Kuki and feed her a crap load of EM. I have my Kuki at like 1,006 EM.
Yeah, she's cracked
for Hyper Bloom. She's insane.
I mean, she's even an amazing healer too. Like, just build her. Fischl, when Sumeru dropped, I finally built my Fischl because I used to use her, but she was kind of like built. Oh, she is cracked, dude. She does big
she's
damage
really good.
too.
It totally revitalized the combat for me. It was getting a tiny bit stagnant, especially considering I'd stopped maining Eula and Ito because teams felt too niche. And then I settled on Diluc, who I love because I can use him in so many different teams. But now like Alhaitham's out as well, and I gotta say, dude, I'm so glad I didn't skip Alhaitham.
Let's go. I know you. I remember you like contemplating if you should pull for him or not.
I was contemplating hard because I was like, and I still stand by this. He is Dendro Kaching, but he's Dendro, and that makes a huge difference. His abilities are very similar, if not identical, looking to Kaching's abilities, and that's what I meant with Dendro Kaching.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got the mirrors and stuff and does different stuff, but they are aesthetically very similar. But I said the same thing about Yelan and Xingqiu and regretted skipping Yelan. So I always said after that, I will never ever make a final judgment on a character before I get to try them myself.
True.
Tried him out, fell in love.
Yeah, he's powerful too. Like
he's so strong.
He 36 started the abyss for me, and like he's strong. I run him with Nahida, Kuki, and I believe Zhongli, or sometimes Yelan, but he's just strong. He's fun to play too.
See, I run him with him, Nahida, Kuki, and Xingqiu at the minute. We'll be switching out for Yelan probably. The Asimon on floor 12 killed it in like 30 seconds today when I was just going through it to test, which is nuts for a level 100 enemy in the abyss. It's just
he's
wild.
Crazy,
but he's so much fun too.
Okay, that's actually a question.
I don't know what it is.
Who's your favorite Sumeru character? Playable Sumeru character, or soon to be playable, so including Dia.
Oh, as in not based on abilities and playability and stuff, just favorite character overall?
Just, yeah, like you can include abilities and play style, but mostly just overall, who's your favorite? For me, it's Tighnari. And I love his character. When I think of Tighnari and I see Tighnari, it reminds me of day one of Sumeru. And it kind of gives me that happy feeling. Yeah. He's powerful too. Like I accidentally crowned his auto, and dude, he's one with the forest, if you know what I mean.
Wait, how the hell did he accidentally crown an auto?
I was leveling up his talents on stream, and I wasn't paying attention, and I looked at chat, and I clicked it one more time, and then it crowned, and I was like, oh my god, I just used the crown. But I was like, all right, let's go test him out, and dude, it's scary.
Yeah, he's very strong.
It's very scary.
He is very strong. Oh, it's a tough one, dude. Tighnari is really, really cool in like a nerdy way. I actually do really like him as well. Design, oh god, it's a
tough question, huh?
It's a very hard question. I love Daya. I think Daya's hot.
Yeah.
Does Dottore count?
I mean, yeah, if you want.
Technically introduced in Sumeru. If he did, I'd say Dottore, because there's a lot more that I want to learn about Dottore before I make final judgments and everything. But then all the Harbingers count. I fucking love the Harbingers. Yeah. Other than that, design-wise, I have to say Candace. I shrimp over Candace,
and my whole community knows I do too. They're like, Eula who? I'm like, I don't know.
Candace is, in my opinion, which doesn't mean much, but in my opinion, one of the best design characters in the whole game. I love the heterochromia. I love the Egyptian style, just symbols.
Everything about her. Yeah.
Everything about her character design is stunning. It's beautiful. So character design, I'd have to say Candace. Play style, I never thought I'd say it, but Alhaitham.
Yeah.
I do really like Alhaitham a lot. And then story-wise,
it's gotta be Nahida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nahida, I think. That's a very difficult question to ask because there's just so many different. Oh, character demo OST-wise,
Alhaitham, you have to say that.
Faruzan.
Really?
100%.
I respect it. It's a good one, but like I don't know, dude. Alhaitham's
is sick
his
too.
Demo was my favorite, and I even joked about it in my reaction to it. Because I know I always say like this is amazing, whatever, but like this one legit I've rewatched so many times, especially when he does like the turnaround and then the beat drops on it. I was like, oh my god.
That person on Twitter, if you're watching this, it was very cute, by the way. Who put? Did you see?
Yeah. They tagged us in it. Yeah.
Put together the reaction thing, like, oh, it's Alhaitham does that, and it's like the turnaround. It's like, oh,
yeah. I was like, oh, hello.
You're looking at me, kind
right?
Sir. I'm taken by a red-headed, gorgeous man, but
yeah,
tempting.
I loved his demo, and Nahida's demo was good too.
I'll give you a spoiler here because my video is going to be out by that point for the demo tier list. I put Nahida, so it went from Bulls, bad tier, to S+.
Okay.
S+ was my 3 favorite, and then it was S, D, C,
gotcha,
bad. I had to put Nahida in her own tier because it was that good.
I agree.
I felt like Nahida's demo touched on literally everything that a character demo should. It had the weird little horror aspect at the end. It had the fun. The OST was incredible. The visuals were stunning. The music was so fitting for the character.
The transitions were insane too. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So nice. I put hers in the best of the best tier, like what they should base other character demos
as
from
deserved.
tier.
Yeah,
I remember waiting up to like 6 a.m. for that to drop and not regretting it in the slightest. That's it for the questions. We're coming up on about 2.5 hours, probably about 2 hours of actual podcast stuff, which I think is about good.
No, I think that's good.
You wanna?
I think it's a good amount for a first. Yeah.
If you made it this far, drop a phrase in the comment that we are gonna say in a second to show. What should we get people to say?
Like an outro phrase. You mean like a secret? Like you made it this far? Say this in the comments.
Yeah.
Candace Toes.
Candace Toes. Yeah, put Candace Toes in the comment.
You know.
I'm gonna forget that we said that, and then I'm gonna be reading the comments, and it's gonna be filled with Candace Toes, and I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yep. Sorry, I had to do it too.
That was very fun.
I loved it. That was awesome. Fun. I'm excited for more.
I ain't gonna lie. Time went nowhere for that as well. 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Felt like an hour max.
It did. It flew by.
If you guys have anything else that you want us to cover in the future ones, let us know. If you think of a jingle
or a name.
It's Bran.
Or a name.
And Doro. And Genshin. And Hot Men and Women. And
Candace Toes.
Candace Toes. Yeah, or a name, drop it in the comments. Join mine and Doro's Discord. I'll put links to both in the description. Links to Doro's channel in the description as well, and everything else that I will not forget.
Gucci.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
I did really enjoy that.
That was awesome.
We'll leave it there and see you next time in a couple of weeks. Oh, just as a heads up as well, this probably should have gone in the beginning, but this was recorded on the 5th of February. It's probably going to end up going up in like a week or two, so just bear that in mind if anything changes and, you know, I don't know, Fontaine gets announced or something and we're sat here saying, I wish it had bubbles.
Yeah. And today's podcast was sponsored by Cash App. Cash App is the one and true.
No, it was. No.
You ever notice every podcast is sponsored by Cash App or Manscaped?
Manscaped, yes. This podcast was sponsored by Peepo. Everybody type Peepo in the comments. Have a good night.